Good morning, church family.
Rachel and I just wanted to come early on in your work week to bring some announcements and a word of encouragement. These last couple weeks we have been worshiping together online, and even though we'd all much rather be worshiping together in our sanctuary, we have been so encouraged by how many of you have tuned in these last 2 weeks to gather with us. And again, it's just a testament to the power of the kingdom of God and the gospel that continues to go out. The church is not confined to a building or a space, but continues to worship as we're scattered apart. Now, these last couple weeks we've worshiped online, and it does look like we will be worshiping remotely probably throughout the month of April with new information we've just received. So we ask that you would please be praying with us and for us as we try to think creatively about how we can worship together at Good Friday and Easter Sunday, such important moments in the church year. So please stay connected with us through Facebook, Instagram, email, our website, all those different avenues. So you can get updated information on that when it becomes available. We have been walking alongside God's people in the wilderness these last several weeks, and yesterday we talked about how this seasons of wilderness can cause craving and longing and us reaching out for things, for stability, for strength, for comfort, and how dangerous they can be if we're not actually reaching for God.
Yeah. I read an article recently that talked about maybe that feeling that we're kind of thinking in our minds, but we don't really have a name for it, how that could possibly be grief. There's many different types of grief and many things that any of us could be grieving over right now. Some of those could be anticipatory grief, thinking, towards about the things that we have lost as far as what could happen in the future. Some of that could be grief over the control that we thought we had. We've now been told when and where we can go and when and where we can't go and those types of things. And then also grief over loss of our comfort. Our routines have all been turned upside down. And I don't think there's a person in America that probably has the same routine or schedule that they had 2 weeks ago. And as a lot of you know, Chris has been talking about idols in his sermon series, and two of the most talked about and common idols are the idols of comfort and control. Those are the two that we tend to grasp onto and cling to the most. And I think if anything in the last 2 weeks, we've been shown that those two things can be gone very, very quickly. The things that we think we've got grasp on, we think we have control and we think we have comfort in this world can so easily be shaken and tossed away, leaving us with feelings of anger and fear and sadness, maybe even, and frustration. Yeah, that grief, but just kind of an overall feeling that our world has been tossed upside down. And Habakkuk kind of talks about those same feelings in Habakkuk chapter 3. I'm going to read verses 17 through 19, and let's listen to kind of his feelings in a similar situation and what he says. And this is Habakkuk 3, 17 through 19. It says, "Though the fig tree should not blossom, nor the fruit be on the vines, the produce of the olive fail, and the field yields no food, the flock be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. God, the Lord, is my strength. He makes my feet like the deer's. He makes me tread on the high places."
And see, all those things that Habakkuk mentions in that passage are things that they could have very easily looked to for their strength and their security, the produce of the vine, the flocks of the field. And yet when those faded away, that's when Habakkuk realized that his true strength, his joy, his stability was found in the Lord. And in this season, as our world in many ways have been turned upside down in some pretty significant ways, this is a chance for us to learn that same lesson, that our strength and our security doesn't lie in our comfort or in our perceived understanding of what control is, but rather in God and in his sovereign hand working all things together for good.
Right.
And so we hope that encourages you this morning. Church, we love you. We're praying for you. We're with you in this. If we can serve you in any way, please let us know.